Good morning! Boy, the class started a little earlier now.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Morning Buzz. I'm Mr. Warren, along with Ms. Sabatelli. And it seems again we've got a lot going on this week, so why don't you tell everybody what's going on?
Okay. This week, on Tuesday, December 10th, there's a new parent orientation, and there's two of those, one at 1 p.m. and another one in the evening at 7 p.m. On Thursday, December 12th, there's a PTO meeting at 7 p.m. And then on Monday, December 16th, is the first meeting of the new cooking club at 5 p.m. in the drop-in center. Anyone interested in joining should contact Mrs. Throckmorton. The cooking workshop recipes are still available in the main office, in case you've missed it. If you are interested, keep looking on Schoology next week for more information on workshops and clubs that will be offered in the future.
I can remember, maybe about a month ago, Mrs. Throckmorton and Mrs. Thomas had like a cooking show.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, I think it had to do, was it pumpkin?
I think some of the recipes.
Absolutely delicious. So you don't want to miss it. Remember, next Monday. At this point, one of my favorite segments always is the weather, so I know how to get dressed in the morning and how I need to go outside in heavy coat, light coat. Let's turn it over to Mrs. Muskuski.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Muskuski, that's a new one. Mrs. M here. So today I want to talk to you about winter weather. But before we do that, you may be familiar with some big hurricanes that have hit. Something like Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Katrina. We use something called the Saffir-Simpson scale to measure our hurricanes. Once hurricanes reach a certain speed, they're a certain size, have a certain pressure, we get to name our storms. Well, you may have been watching the Weather Channel within the past few years and noticed that we started having Winter Storm Ezekiel, Winter Storm Carol. So I wanted to talk today about the criteria. So just like the Saffir-Simpson scale has certain criteria laid out that is followed by the National Weather Service and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the naming for our storms does not. It is actually the Weather Channel is the only entity out there that actually names their storms. Now, they do use some criteria. For instance, if the National Weather Service will issue a winter storm warning, they may use that in their criteria. Also, if a winter storm is going to affect an area about 400 square miles or affect about 2 million people. However, this is something that is used just by the Weather Channel and not necessarily through NOAA or National Weather Service. It's interesting, several years ago, some of you may know, that I studied meteorology when I was in college. And I had the chance to meet, in person, Paul Cosin. Paul Cosin was previously the winter weather expert on, ironically enough, the Weather Channel. And he wrote a book. He spent a lot of his life doing research and trying to come up with a method to name these storms. I actually have the book autographed. Real story, true story. So they never really went through and came up with a systematic way to do that. However, the Weather Channel kind of took it upon themselves as the weather authority to do that. So there's a lot of debate in the weather world. Just a little fun fact for you. Let's see what...
Absolutely, another great forecast. I still don't know how to get dressed in the morning, but thank you for the tips, because we understand it could rain, it could snow, it could sleet, but we're going to be prepared nonetheless. So at this point, how about talking about our next coming podcast?
The You Belong podcast is all about the Innovation Academy, so be sure to check that out.
So that's our show for December 9th. Again, make it a great day and a terrific week. See you, everybody.